Forward! All right. Ball left! Ball left! Forward!
Welcome back to episode 10 of Amateur Hour with the Fantastic Four. Today, there's only three of us. It's your man, the Axeman, Joe. You've got the Butcher, Ben Daly, and we've got Captain Hook himself, Edward Gibbs. And today, the topic is golfing attire. Now, given the topical, most recent goings-on in and around golfing apparel, with Tyrrell Hatton wearing a hoodie to begin with, made by Adidas, great brand. And most recently, Rory McIlroy, featured in the Nike, or Nike, if you're English, golfing hoodie. We're going to discuss what that means for golf, what that means for golf apparel, and where it's taking the sport. And there'll also be a quick feature from yours truly about some new golfing attire that he himself has recently purchased, and we'll get onto that later. But crossing now over to Captain Hook, take us on this journey, Mr. Gibbs.
All right, so hello. So bit of an interesting one. Potentially caused the biggest debate of the modern era of golf, perhaps. The hoodie. We've seen McIlroy in it this weekend. Recently, we've seen Tyrrell Hatton wearing it as well. Where's everybody standing? Where's everybody's opinion on that? Ben, what do you reckon for the future of golf?
I've got to say, to start off with, I was surprised by Rory. I didn't of everyone on tour, I wouldn't have pat him down to, because it's quite a bold move. And maybe it shouldn't be classed as a bold move, but it is quite a bold move. And I was surprised that Rory was one of the first ones to, maybe he's the first one on the PGA tour, I don't know. I have to check that. The first one to do it. Tyrrell Hatton's quite a well-known for being outspoken. So it's not as surprising from somebody with his kind of character. But Rory, I was quite surprised by that. I maybe expected from some of the younger players, probably like maybe a DeChambeau move or something like that, because he's pretty happy to do what he wants. But I was surprised that it come from Rory, who's quite a traditional golfer, I would say. But I think it looks good. I think it's practical, especially for Tyrrell Hatton in the UK. I'm sure Rory didn't need it out in the States this weekend. But I think it looks good. I think it's practical. And I think, frankly, it's all about practicality and efficiency and style. And style doesn't have to be smart. And golf is an active sport. I think it's perhaps a stereotype that needs to be moved away from. Joseph?
I think that's good. Yeah. Joe, do you reckon it's good for the future of golf? Do you reckon it's going to encourage more people in?
I think.
Or do you reckon it's going to deter the older people away?
I was going to say that's a leading question, Mr. Gibbs, but I would agree that, yes, I think it's good for the future of golf in terms of aiming to get more people into it from a variety of backgrounds and wants when they go out on the course, and accessibility. I think it's very good. Whether collared shirts and the downfall of them will follow next, we'll see. I certainly think that could be the route forwards as well. It's a good look, no doubt. It's a smart hoodie as well. It's not like it's just a terrible looking hoodie. It's pretty smart. As Ben said, it's comfortable. It's probably efficient for them, makes them warm. And if they're comfortable playing golf, they're probably going to get the best out of them. So no qualms with it at all, really.
Do you think that it potentially could be a big move from Nike or Adidas in their branding? Because I think it's really clever, right? All these images have been posted all over the internet of Rory and Tyrrell wearing their Adidas and their Nike jumpers. So do you think it's a clever move from them? Or do you think it's come from the players?
Guerrilla marketing, isn't it? They've definitely capitalised on it. They're definitely getting people to share it somehow or another, which propagates it into the general population of golfers. And I suppose then it's almost because there's other golfers want it and there's a purchasing power there behind that. I think golf clubs in some ways are going to be forced into that move by these power brands. So it's interesting because it transcends branding, selling, golf all at the same time, which is quite an interesting case study. Actually, that's raised a really good point, Ed. You could write a paper on this in 10 years.
Yeah, the evolution of the golf hoodie.
You've got to. Sorry, Joe. Go on.
Oh no, I was just posing a theoretical thesis, but Ben, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've also got to think that I could be wrong, but I doubt highly that Tyrrell or Rory's gone to Adidas and Nike respectively and said, "Oh, I'd really like a hoodie for this weekend. Can you get me one?" They would have developed these hoodies with the branding. You know, I know Tyrrell has got a watch sponsor, which name eludes me, which is printed on there. He's not picked it up out of the wardrobe. They've done that for them. So it almost definitely is a marketing thing. And it's a sensible move for these big brands, especially Adidas and Nike. And you'll definitely see it now with the likes of Puma, is there quite geared towards youth, shall we say, and more style rather than the more traditional looks. And it's got to be a really clever marketing move. And just saying, hey, well, why don't you wear this weekend and uproar, even no such thing as bad press, as they say. Even if everyone's talking about the hoodie that they hate, it's in everyone's face, and they've not really paid for that. So it's quite clever.
Haven't paid a penny.
The more I think about it, now we're talking about it, the more I think this is premeditated off the back of lockdown, general youth influence, at least what we've seen on social media for golf, particularly TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably a power move from both of them, and they've had this in the planning since probably May.
Yeah,
April, May.
I think it fits in really well with the trends from golf this year that have come. Like, a lot of younger people are taking it up. It's been more popular than ever through COVID, and I think, I think it has been in the pipeline for a while, and I think that. I think it's definitely a good guerrilla marketing move from them. But like you said, they're smart. They're not like any old hoodie, which I think is a bit of a difference. I think that's where, if it was like not to pick on you, Ben, but if it was like the hoodie you're wearing, I think that would perhaps be slightly different, with a big logo on and stuff. But I don't know. It's interesting. Interested to see where it goes. But so yeah, Ben, next question. Do you think that this is going to lead itself towards, like Joe mentioned before, the drop of the collared shirts and potentially even the drop of the trousers? Do you think people could start wearing jeans?
The interesting thing, talking about the collared shirts, I mean, for years now, Tiger's been wearing these non-collared shirts, right? And there's two things to note on that. The first thing is, nobody gave one when Tiger did it, because he can do what he wants, I suppose. No, I don't ever remember. I think I maybe heard it mentioned once or twice in the last however many years I've been watching golf and thinking about golf. No one's ever said, "Oh, what about Tiger wearing this?" Why? Nobody cares, because he's the GOAT, if you will, right? So all of a sudden, these players, not that Rory and Tyrrell aren't fantastic, but because they have less of this barrier, whereby people are almost brainwashed by whatever they do, they feel they have the right to criticise them. You didn't see anyone criticising Tiger for it. And the second point to note, which is almost slightly contradictory, is that it hasn't caught on either. I don't see anybody wearing those Tiger shirts. I don't think I've ever seen anybody wear one. I'm not inclined to wear one. I don't particularly like it. And it's interesting. So, I mean, I think the collared shirts look really nice. I think a lot of people think they look really nice. And there's plenty of options out there which aren't smart or formal. They're completely relaxed, completely casual. Most of mine have got big stripes on, and they don't strike you as uncomfortable, do they? So my answer to that question is no. I don't think that's going to move away from collared shirts. I think they're probably going to stay. I think they're one of the things that stick with golf. Whenever I play golf with my friends who aren't golfers, they go into the wardrobe and they dig out a collared shirt and they think, as soon as they've got that, they can play golf, right? That's kind of the main criteria for them, is to find a polo shirt. So I don't think that'll change. And I think even if Tiger can market something which is non-collared and it not take off, I don't think anybody else can really do it.
On that note, what do you reckon to Tiger's look with the what do you call it, the the with the high neck
It's like
turtleneck.
it's like
Like a turtleneck kind of thing. Yeah.
What do you reckon to the turtleneck Nike t-shirt?
I think I could.
That's what I mean.
I think I could pull it off. Not gonna lie, I think I'll pull it off. I look good in it, and I think I'd be respected on the golf course. But that's
I think
that's just
he
me.
pulls it off, just. But then, like I say, if anyone's going to set a trend in golf, it would be Tiger Woods, and he's never set a trend. I don't think he's ever really set a trend, has he? Nobody wears. I don't see anybody having those Tiger head covers. I don't see anybody wearing red on a Sunday. I don't see anybody. I just don't. I don't think he's ever really set a style trend.
No.
And I don't think it's gonna. And he still wears those. I think that's all he ever wears now is those non-collared polo neck kind of things. And I don't think anybody's caught onto it. I think it suits him. I think it works well. It looks good, but I don't think it's the start of something. I really don't.
It's a good point. And Ed, do you think? I know we make quite a few comparisons to tennis here, but like tennis has never had from even when me and you were growing up, there was no like kind of dress code, was there? Ever? But people still dressed relatively smartish, would you say?
Yeah.
But you never felt like you had to wear this and that.
No.
With golf, you felt like you had to wear a collared shirt because that was the way.
Yeah. I guess it's just a feeling of like fitting in as well, and feeling like if you go to work, you wouldn't want to be that guy who stood there in like tracksuit bottoms or just a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. If it was a reasonably smart work environment, you just wouldn't want to be, you like to feel dressed for the occasion. And it's not like it's uncomfortable attire at all. A collared t-shirt, it's not. Like Ben was saying, it's comfortable, and all the golf stuff is comfy. So, interesting thought though. But Wimby White still stays, doesn't it? Which I love. I'm a massive fan of Wimbledon, like wearing white or Wimby. Massive fan of that, but that's a whole different topic.
Well, it's a shame me and you didn't make it to the Dubs last year, wasn't it?
I know.
Corona, right?
Last round got short.
Corona, eh?
Yeah.
We would have been there first round. Damn. Oh well.
Corona, if you're watching, we're going to come for you next year. I've lost my track.
Anyway, golf. Something I'd like to bring it back to is, I think the thing that's reaching out and grabbing this movement back is maybe tradition. And I think tradition is the only thing that's keeping tradition alive. Is, I think, the older generations who still believe in it. And I think tradition is, and I think golf, of almost any sport, has some of the most traditional values and traditional roots, and it's such an old sport. And obviously it comes from the fact that when it was first invented, only the rich and the wealthy, and it was done by aristocrats and people who could afford to go and play golf, because it was deemed to be this wealth sport, which is it's less so now. But that begs the question: will there be a point where golf loses its tradition, and is this the starting point or the first domino in that happening? I hope it's not, because I like a lot of the tradition behind golf. But boys, what do you think of that?
I think it's just going to be a modernisation of the sport. I don't think it will lose. I think the traditional roots will always stay there. Although it'd be interesting to see what happens in like 20 years' time when the generations have taken over. When you got the younger generation of now, the people like McIlroy and Tyrrell Hatton, that sort of age taking over as being the older generation in the clubs. But I think it's a modernisation. I would like to think that you don't necessarily lose all of the tradition, because I do like tradition, just like with the Wimbledon Whites. But Joe, what do you think?
Adaptation, isn't it? Adaptation. You got to adapt or you die, and I think golf is going through that process right now. And they've needed it. And I think COVID's been the lifeline that other industries haven't had for golf, right?
Yeah, it's true.
like COVID's been golf's lifeline, or at least its kickstart into the modern era. That's my perspective on it anyway. And the best thing I think golf professionals, golf clubs, people within golf can do is accept that there's an accelerated change within golf, within the wider world, and they just need to ride the wave. There's so many cliches I've said in those last few sentences, but I think that's
the only one you missed was, I think, was live, laugh, love. Joe, I missed that one out.
They should have that on every clubhouse's entrance.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is about adaptation, and as long as you don't forget where it's come from, and you know, people always talk about burning books, and that always touches me. People say that, because I think that's a really sad thing when that movement happens, and I think that could happen with golf if this could happen. You could get a radical movement in golf whereby, when these generations reach that point where they are of influence, and they're the club captains, they're the presidents, they're the chairmen of all these golf clubs, all of a sudden it becomes completely different. And I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope they don't forget about what's come before that, and I'm sure they won't. But there's such a quick jump in character and lifestyle between the generations that are around now compared to before. You know, 20 years or 40 years or whatever, a couple of generations difference now. You're talking wearing hoodies, and 40 years ago they were, well, where were we 40 years ago? 1980, you know, we were still using really old equipment, and, you know, there was no such thing as rangefinders, there was no such thing as GPS, all this stuff was just changed. And if you went 40 years back from 1980, golf probably wasn't wildly different. And I think the ethos was probably still the same, but I think now it's changing, and I think youth is very different to how, of course it is different to modern generations, but I just hope it doesn't become a radical movement whereby people start to look down on what it was before. And I can understand why they would think that, but I hope it happens smoothly, and I hope it happens respectfully.
Yeah, no, I agree. 40 years before that, wasn't that just cavemen hitting stones with sticks?
Exactly, it's all it is.
Anyway, how it's evolved. Anyway, to kind of bring this together, I think there's one thing that I've seen online this week which is kind of epitomised this whole debate, I think, which is great, which is from Harold Varner. Is it Harold Varner the third?
The third, yeah.
So anyway, recently he's been great, saying the fact that golf is worried about a hoodie is honestly what's wrong with golf. And I do think that's a great way to summarise it, because like we've said, it is perhaps the change that was necessary, and COVID has thrown golf that lifeline, and now it's taken advantage of it. So so there we have it. But well, now I think we have a sneaky preview from a purchase of the week. So we all know that golf's a sport you can spend endless amounts of non-disposable income. So the disposable income that's not there, but you can still spend money on golf because there's always a way. But here we have it. So Joe, what have you got for us this week?
Let me tell you, right? Let me tell you, Ben. I'm going to take you back to the summer of 2020. It wasn't that long ago. Maybe 10 weeks. Maybe 10 weeks. We were in the Forest of Dean. I want to say third hole. And I've taken a 6-iron. I've placed it middle of the fairway. And then I've taken 8-iron in onto the green. 2 putts, makes a par. It's tipping it down with rain. Fine. I've gone off the back of that green and it slopes down. And what have I done? What have I done? Tell me. Tell the listeners.
Gone head over heels. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's cartoons where the legs are going so quickly that they are static in midair, and all of a sudden, bam! It was just like that, and it was beautiful to watch.
And you went, Joe. Well, I don't think you went this, but in my head, you've gone. Well, in my head, I went, Joe. Why don't you wear golf shoes with grip on them? rather than a pair of worn trainers? And I said, well, I don't feel it's worth the investment. However, it's now winter and it's high time that my feet are wet. The ground is muddy. It's sodden. I'm moving about like I'm on Strictly Come Dancing. And I bought myself a pair of golf shoes. And I'm going to review them for you right now. First day, they've just arrived. It's the Callaway, you won't be able to see that, the Callaway Chev Comfort. That is a waterproof series of shoe that, according to the bullet points right here, they have a leather upper, a sport Oxford lacing, OptiVent, that's a registered trademark name, mesh liner for breathability and heat management, Callaway Comfort footbed, OptiSoft, that's another registered trademark, just going to put that in there, Eva midsole for natural ground, feel and comfort. New permanent traction rubber outsole, new ETS permanent cleat design, 1 year limited waterproof warranty rather, not guarantee.
Oh, mate.
30-day comfort guarantee. I don't know what happens when you become uncomfortable. No idea. But they're the shoes that I bought. Amazon Prime, $52.99. Came within a day. And there they are.
Unreal.
Lovely.
Unreal. Oh, you've
spikes.
got
Not
slightly
spikes,
different.
but like grip spikes kind of thing.
There is the grip spikes are a slightly different color to mine.
Yeah. I think I do have a slightly different version.
Yeah, you must do. I think
Anyway,
mine are grey.
The first test is this weekend. 2 rounds of golf. It's raining. And,
Amazing. What size did you go for, Joe?
This is interesting. So I saw yours, and I thought yours were rather large.
I've gone for a 10. Standard. I'm a standard 10.
So
I look like a clown.
I'm usually a 9.5/a 10, and I've opted for the size 9.
Ooh, brave.
Fits like a dream.
Oh, there we go.
Like a
There we
dream.
go.
Like a dream.
So then,
That's it for this week's What Have You Purchased? Or whatever we called it.
amazing. The best investment. Golf shoes, the best investment come winter. Ben,
Well,
you wouldn't know because you've had them for a while, so you've forgotten what it's
I've
like.
got to say, I've had some Adidas golf shoes which I've had for probably genuinely like 5 years, and they are a bit yellow now. They were white; they're a bit yellow now. But you know what? They're still pretty good going. They hold up, and that was 40 quid's worth spent 5 years ago. So, as Joe said, they are worth the investment, especially coming into winter. You don't want to be ice skating around the golf course. That's for sure.
No, not at all. Not
Not at all. Well, there we have it.
Let's do a close out.
Yeah, yeah. So there we have it. So this week's topical debate: is a hoodie acceptable on the golf course? Well, I think we have discovered and found out that we think it is.
Join us next week while we wear hoodies around the best golf courses in the country and see if we get stoned by the members as we leave.
Yeah, Ben will send you in for that, mate. Send you in for that. But yeah, so there we have it. Thanks for listening. Let us know what your thoughts are on as well, and we'll catch you again soon.
Yeah. Do you want to mention the socials?
Oh, cheeky socials. Forgot about that. Yeah, so make sure you hit the subscribe button naturally. Social media, we've got Instagram, give us a follow, TikTok for a bit more, for a few more funny vids, and we have website launching this weekend. So we've got a little bit of blog, we've got some articles, some reviews, some more videos. So yeah, check us out.